I was actually talking on Discord the other day with a friend of mine on how ridiculous it is that mortal busybodies have managed to absolutely trash the European Union's GDP. And if you look at what's happening back a couple of years ago, the European Union and the United States had similar GDP levels. But then, due to many reasons, including environmentalism, where you have some moral busybodies that think we're destroying the planet and that if we pay more taxes, we make Sky Daddy less angry, you notice a huge decline in GDP. Like it's just plummeting because of all the regulations, because of all of the rules that are preventing industry from innovating, they're preventing industry from developing. And what I'm noticing is the exact same shit happening to the American entertainment industry, where you have moral busybodies of various ideologies, it doesn't matter, but moral busybodies that ask for regulations, that they're basically asking for moral considerations when making video games. They just don't allow the industry to innovate or to have the free market decide. They're basically stating, no, we need our entertainment industry to be like a garden. We need our entertainment industry to be manufacturally created, and like we need to go there with the scissors and cut the little bush until it looks like a poppy so that we're proud of it. And what happens is that the plant wilts and dies, and meanwhile the competition flourishes, right? So like the United States just went through this shit. They went through the environmentalism of video games, where you had left-leaning people imposing their morality on video games and creating the Concords, creating the AAA crash that we see now, where, they were pretending that they're fighting against degeneracy, but woke people, I mean, they were some of the most degenerate individuals on the internet, but what they were actually fighting against was the male gaze, right? Like, they really hated the male gaze, especially anything that has to do with heteronormativity. And so they were creating characters that look androgynous, that have cellulitis, that come with skin disease, video games that push their ideology, that has pronouns and shit. Literally, I feel like the comparison is perfect to the environmentalists that destroyed Germany's nuclear reactors. It's like, no, we need to shut them down. We don't like them. Let's crash the economy. Let's tank the economy because it feels good, because it's moral, right? Like, it's moral not to pollute. So, like, let's ship all the industry into China, and we're going to just feel good about ourselves. And so you have other foreign nations now making games the way they should be made, and they're watching this horrified. I see them absolutely horrified because it's like, oh, but it's China, it's got spyware, it's got this and this and that. And they don't understand, because at the end of the day, no matter what I say, no matter what other content creators say, it's the market that's deciding. It's people that don't talk to each other, people that don't communicate with each other, that are buying these types of games. And so you can only affect your own industry. You can moralize and you can bitch and you can whine about the way your country makes games. But at the end of the day, the world is a big place. And if your country is not competitive, and if your country is doing games that spite what the market wants, then alternative forces are going to dominate. It's exactly the same what's happening in the European Union right now. It's like, oh, you guys don't want to have a manufacturing industry because of regulations? That's fine. China will provide. So Europeans are now buying shit from China. And it's because of the over-regulations, right? Now, this seems to be fixing itself. Like, there are so many corporations that have failed this year, so many games that haven't sold, that we are noticing them talking about a change. But it will probably take 4 years or so before we notice the change, because this is the development cycle of a video game. Meanwhile, people are playing this shit, right? So there's a lot of gacha, there's a lot of Chinese games that are giving people what they haven't seen in a decade, and they're making millions of dollars. And so now you have right-wingers, and Melody Mac is just one example that's famous. But like, I see this all the fucking time. People who grew up in this era, people or people who lack testosterone for various reasons. Like, this is acceptable, but like there are others that should work out in the gym, in my opinion. They grew up with this, right? So they grew up with this, and they genuinely think that something like this is pornography. This used to be in 2016 in many commercials. This used to be in movies for teenagers. It's not pornography, all right? Like, let me explain to you what pornography is. It's penetration, or at least nudity, right? Like, that would be pornography. Like, I'm sorry we have to go back to the definitions, but if you were to put this and call it pornography and charge people money, they will accuse you of fraud. Like, they will want their money back. They would not be pleased with what you are selling. This is something that's rated T for Ts. It's on the Apple Play Store, for fuck's sakes. Like, stop being retarded. So anyway, they don't like this, right? Back in 2016, this was normal. I mean, if you play Mass Effect, you get to see Liara Tsoni looking like this. This is like Stellar Blade level, but it's also Bayonetta. It's also Dragon Age with Morrigan. Like, Morrigan was like this. So you know, this to me, as a person who lived back in the day, is not shocking. But maybe if you're like a person that was born more recently and you're like 18 now, this may abhor you. This may shock you. I don't know. But the question is, like, what do you do with it, right? And my answer is that you should let the market decide. One of the things that led us to this isn't necessarily left-leaning ideology. It's moral busybodiness. And what I mean by this is the idea that what I like has to be what everyone else likes, right? And this is the cancer. This is the problem, because you're basically telling me that I, as a Romanian, shouldn't be able to enjoy this because some American twat doesn't like it and thinks that everyone shouldn't play it. And I'm like, well, who the fuck are you? Why, like, you're not my mom, you're not my dad. I don't even know you. If I'm stuck in a ditch, you wouldn't get money to help me, right? Like, it's one thing if, let's say, my wife would come in and have a conversation. I would understand, right? Because, like, she's my spouse, and then we have a connection, and we talk to each other, and she would have a right to complain. But when it's, like, some random fucking twat out of nowhere, like, all you're doing is you're creating spite. Like, now I just dislike you, I dislike your ideology, I dislike what you're standing for. You're doing shit to upset me, so now it's my moral obligation to upset you somehow. Right? Like if you're the type of person that complains over the fact that I build ships in bottles and you don't like it, so you're trying to destroy my hobby, then I will find out what you like. Like, maybe you like fixing cars, and then I'll start supporting environmentalist groups to take that away from you. I'm literally that fucking petty. You think you know how petty I am? You don't. I am insanely petty. So when people start messing with the stuff that I like, I find out what you're into, and I go out of my way to fuck with it. And honestly, that's why I even became a staunch anti-social justice. Because they started fucking with my video games. So then I dedicated years of my life, research, and everything else just to find out what their ideology is about, what they dislike, and how to upset them. And by the way, this is a normal and healthy mindset to have. If everyone thought like me, we would have less moral busybodies. It's ironic, I know, but it is what it is. So regarding Melody Mac's concerns, I do think there are concerns, all right? I know that many people haven't reached this part of the video, and by now they won't even listen to what I have to say, but I don't give a fuck. I say what needs to be said. There are indeed concerns, right? I don't think that everyone should have access to these types of games, right? I do think that there should be a rating where parents are aware about the nature of the game, right? So, like, there should be games rated for everyone, right? Like, kids-friendly games like Mario. There should be games that are rated T for teenagers, like this one. And then there should be games that are rated for adults, right? Violence should also be taken into consideration. I noticed that a lot of Americans, for some fucking reason, are obsessed, absolutely obsessed with anything sexual. But they don't care about drinking anymore. They don't care about gambling. They don't care about violence. But they're Christians. How the fuck does that make any sense? Huh? Where did Jesus say that it's okay for you to play as a character that's a gangster and shoots the cops? Like, where in the Bible does that say it's not civil? Like, why is it okay to put up with that? But for some reason, seeing a lady with a plump ass, that's not okay. Because I'm telling you, both aren't. Like, I actually did read the Bible, both aren't. So, like, if you're trying to push Christian morality, at least push it properly. But my point, you know, like, it's fine if you're a Christian and you go to church and you tell other Christians, hey, these games are sinful, right? Because that's your group. That's your people. That's fine. But I don't understand why the fuck you're including me into this. Like, I'm not with your group. I'm not in your church, right? I got my different beliefs. In fact, I'm Orthodox. You're probably sinful just by your denomination. If you're not Orthodox, you're doing it wrong, right? So, like, if I don't lecture you about my ideology, why are you trying to prevent me from enjoying my entertainment? Not that they would be successful anyway, by the way, because they don't even have remotely the same institutional power that the left does. So all in all, what this is, it's modern Twitter, right? And modern Twitter is like, you join a group of people that agree with you, and you're attacking a different group of people that don't agree. So you're like, oh my god, this is softcore pornography. Who agrees with me? Who agrees with me? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. More likes. More. Come on. Am I not right? Am I not? Just say it. I'm not right. And then you get the likes, right? And then you have like someone else that disagrees. It's like, this person thinks differently. How can you think differently? He doesn't do anything about it, but he thinks differently, right? And this is what leads us to this shit. This is this shit. This is the free market. This is selling not because like it's imposed or people have to buy it. This is selling because this is what the market wants. I guarantee to you, give this 5 or 6 years and then people will get bored of it and they will buy something else. Because the only reason that people are so thirsty right now is because of 10 years of this shit. Probably more than 10 years, right? So, if this just passes, if people go and they buy these games and at some point they're going, oh, okay, another game that uses lewdness to sell, they will start buying other stuff. And there will always be a market for this as well, right? So basically, let the market decide, and my morality is that people should be informed of what they are buying. Like, you don't want to buy a game that you think is for kids and then you see something like this in it. I agree. You know, it should be on the box. At the same time, if you have a game rated M for mature, where you have people with guns shooting and killing other people, if the developer wants to include this, the developer should be able to include this. There's nothing wrong with this. It's like, if the game is capable of doing hyper-violence, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to have a woman in it that looks like a Roman statue. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.